I'm dialed in to your feedback, which is so good. Okay, first we're going to talk about uh, Billy Joel email. And the second part of Billy's doc drops tomorrow on HBO and HBO Max streaming. So if you guys do watch part two, email me your thoughts and we can discuss them on Tuesday's show. I've got a special guest who promises to show up and we can all talk about it together. Hello, Maureen. This is from a devoted troublemaker who wants to go by just the name C, the initial C, excuse me. Your recent segment on Billy Joel brought back some powerful memories. I too was an outcast, a misfit, as Billy says he was in the doc. I was at a school that boasted the likes of JFK and, in my time, Anthony Radziwill. Jackie attended his graduation, which was my brother's year, and my mom made me stand near her so she could pretend to take my picture when it was Jackie she was focused on all along. I was a day student farm girl with no sense of fashion, wealth, or urban culture, surrounded by the elite from around the world. I found my place in athletics, and she had a 70s orange Datsun station wagon that she nicknamed Storm and Norman. Storm and Norman helped later on as these same elites needed rides to the New Haven bars, and I obliged, but I was never truly one of them. I am okay with that. P.S. You're a bit of a guilty pleasure, so it would help my conscience if you could be nice to Jesus. Conscience. Troublemaker C, I've got no problem with Jesus. I love the teachings of Jesus. I may be a lapsed Catholic, but I think the teachings of Jesus are great. You know, sometimes it's just you're trying to punctuate something and it slips out, and I mean no harm, I promise. Okay, from another troublemaker, Billy Joel on Maui, circa 1996. Your segment reminded me of the time he came into the clothing store I worked at on Maui. He came in. He with a woman, I'm guessing was his agent or manager, and the woman was a New York City type of person, obnoxious, loud. Billy, however, the megastar, the multimillionaire, could not have been kinder or more down to earth. I love stories like this. So while the woman he's with is ransacking the store, I was so struck that he was quietly looking around and politely chatting with me about how high some of the clothing prices were. He could have bought the whole store out, but it was obvious that despite his fame, celebrity, and much deserved success, he had not forgotten his childhood roots. I always thought it was terrible. This is such a great point. I didn't realize this, but I love it. I always thought it was terrible how Anthony Bourdain, God rest his soul, constantly ripped on Billy Joel and made fun of him and his music on his show all the time. It seemed to be malicious and not jesting and fun. I never saw or heard Billy Joel say anything negative about Anthony in return. I did enjoy, here we go, troublemaker. I did enjoy Bourdain's show, and I don't want to speak ill of the dead. You can speak ill of the dead with me. Just because you're dead, it doesn't turn you into a saint. But the fact is that while Billy Joel was busy making great music and dating supermodels, Anthony Bourdain was a homeless, heroin-addicted line cook. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Love you, troublemaker. Hi, Maureen. Thank you for discussing Billy Joel on The Nerve. I lived and worked in Japan for several years. While I consider it my second home, it was definitely a very challenging time. Personally and professionally, I rediscovered Billy during that time, and The Stranger in particular was my soundtrack for those years. He is truly an American great. Agreed with you. Hello, Maureen. Good afternoon, all the way from Manchester, England. Hello. I knew I had found my tribe at The Nerve from the very beginning. And then you started to talk about Billy Joel. My earliest memory of his music was around 7 or 8 years old. Uptown Girl was #1 here in the UK. It would show up on top of the pops every week, and her mom would race upstairs, put on her fur coat, and come back down. And I would laugh my head off as she is no longer with us. It's a memory I cherish. I am probably the only Billy Joel fan I've ever met. But watching your show yesterday, it was like I finally found the other members of this secret club that I am already a member of. Who needs cool when you've got Billy Joel? Agreed. Now, I also got some killer art in my inbox from you troublemakers this week. First, I want to show you 3 images of Anna Wintour that were sent in by Troublemaker Jarrett, first name only. This is one Anna, freed of her editor-in-chief perch at Vogue and now freed of the shackles of lifelong calorie restriction. Just my supposition. And, perhaps Anna is girding her loins for The Devil Wears Prada 2, which is shooting now and potentially undergoing some rewrites now that Anna is no longer in her position of power, as I call it. It's like they found Saddam Hussein in the spider hole. Anna found her out in the wild eating some pizza. Thank you, Troublemaker Jarrett. We also got this decree from Troublemaker Laba, which I died. This scroll, and we're showing it to you now, reads, "By the power vested in the Troublemakers, we banish those who test our patience to the woodshed, where our new wing is currently under construction." 2 more of your emails. One from a troublemaker, and this is such a great observation. I think there's something almost like, again, we're a baby show, but you guys are so active on the YouTube feed, and we're working on other areas for everyone to go and talk to each other and for me to talk to you outside of the show. But Instagram, but it's almost like we take it for granted because we all are of like minds. This troublemaker made a point in this email to me to remark upon, I'm going to call her Andrea S. as troublemaker number 1. You might have to fight for that crown, but I'll give it to you. Just about the level of discourse among all of us. She says, "Maureen, I do hope you know just how clever your troublemaker audience is. Trust me, I do. She goes on, "Yes, there are a plethora of podcasts," great word, plethora, "and silos of podcast audience community, but just quietly, in my opinion, most of them are too dumb for words, literally too dumb to write a lucid sentence. On other YouTube channels, the stream of comments on the episodes are mostly a giant cesspool of self-confessional crap, which we here at The Nerve are dedicated to eradicating. It's a lifelong mission. Now, furthermore, in your troublemaker comment section on YouTube, we don't go after each other in the individual reply comments. This matters. Yes, completely. We're unicorns over here. There aren't long-running lists of replies in the comments with people beating each other up. Trust me, Maureen, this is all over YouTube, but not on The Nerve. I also like that you invite us to share, to email you whatever we think is relevant. Of course, what are we doing here if not that? Okay. And finally, from a troublemaker named Leah, a query, and I'm liking the way you're thinking about a potential future Nerve Con. Maureen, found you on YouTube. I love this. You make me enjoy the English language again. Thank you. Anyway, my question is, what would be your vision for the Nerve Con? That is if and when it happens. Smiley face. We're gonna work towards that. I can't make any promises, but we're gonna work towards it. We troublemakers would eventually want to assemble and meet you in person. Same. I would love to meet all of you guys in person. So again, email or DM me and tell us all at Team Nerve what your ideal Nerve Con would look like, where it would be held, what the talks and events would be like. We want to know all about it.